Hey, tribe and YouTube family. This is another Sunday coffee talk. Got my good old cup of Joe here. I don't know if you can see the steam there. A little bit chilly this morning in Thailand. This is actually, as chilly as it's been, this is actually kind of the coldest it gets in Thailand. Uh, so the reason why you kind of get cold because of the drop is because during the day it's just kind of really hot and humid, especially up north. Northern Thailand gets the most hot, if that's grammatically correct, most hot. but it's pretty much it doesn't get so sun intense hot. It's pretty much the humidity. The humidity just gets sometimes, ooh, oh my God, I can't even explain it. Like miserable hot. Uh, but today we got three things on the agenda. Um, I'm going to do just a recap of the week because a lot went on this week. Then we're going to talk a little bit about being an entrepreneur. So don't get scared. So I'm going to twist it a little bit, even if you don't want to be an entrepreneur. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about another great manifesting story. But this is going to be one of my own personal stories. But this is something I don't share very often. But it's a great, great story, especially with manifesting, trying to get things to work for you. And it's kind of has that ingredient in there, the reason why things are working or not. So it's such a terrific story. So we're going to do that. But leave a comment below. Let me know, especially for the Sunday coffee talks, if you like, especially if we talk about several things, if you would like me to add in chapters, that way, if something like if you don't want to listen to me recap the week, then you can just skip on to the next point. Or if you don't want me, if you, for example, if you don't want to listen to me talk about an entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur, then you can skip on to the next point. Or if I'm just being boring, you can skip on. So let me know down below in the comments if you want me to do that for the Sunday Coffee Talks. Again, Sunday Coffee Talks is really going to be a one take wonder. Just to sit down Sunday morning, drink coffee. And for me, even though this is pre recorded, this is actually Sunday morning for me. So this is Sunday morning in Thailand. Uh, so I'm not like pretending it's Sunday morning. This is actually Sunday morning. So a recap of the week, really quick. Um, Remember on the Sunday Coffee Talks, we have a super thanks spotlight. This is where if you do a super thanks on this video and any video, uh, basically how a super thanks work is you can do a super thanks and you can add a comment to it. So you do a super thanks comment and something you want to know, something you want me to talk about, something you want to explain deeper. It could be something going on in your life. As long as it's not too personal, I'm not gonna. If you do a comment, I'm not gonna like use your name in the video or stuff like that. But as long as it's not too personal, but you want to know more about it, and so that's really how in the future how the Sunday Coffee Talks are going to go. So we got the Super Thanks Spotlight going on. This week, honestly, has been that's going to lead up to part two of our discussion, being an entrepreneur. A lot of went on this week. This was a busy week. A lot of rebranding this week, especially across some of my platforms with YouTube, stuff like that. Just kind of getting more clear on how my channel is going to go, the direction it's going, the things we're talking about, making it a little bit more basically more clear, less confusing what the channel's about, especially for newcomers that's coming in and looking at everything. Just because I can, okay, when we talk about being an entrepreneur or sales, a confused mind will always say no. If you're confused, you're not going to sit there and try to figure it out. You're just confused to move on. Bottom line. So, so, so I kind of worked on a lot of that this week. Worked on a lot of what did I work on? Took me a few days to do it. Worked on the like the featured video, like when you basically come to the YouTube homepage, you have that featured video that kind of goes along with the brand. Um, so I kind of redid that, was in the mood to do that this week. That took a few days just to do a 1 minute video. So did that. And that kind of rolls up to my talk on, let me take a sip of coffee here. try to drink my coffee a little bit more. But I get off. I get so used to doing videos, then what I'm drinking just sits there and gets cold. Um, but this kind of leads up to being an entrepreneur. And maybe you want to be an entrepreneur, maybe you are an entrepreneur, maybe you're a new entrepreneur, maybe things are not working out for you, you've been an entrepreneur for a long time. Uh, maybe you don't, you're just like, Chad, I don't want to be an entrepreneur. I'm happy what I'm doing right now, happy having my job, my career. But let me spin it a couple ways. It's going to fit you when I say this, no matter if you want to be an entrepreneur or not. Is the bottom line is, okay, the whole brand of the YouTube now is live life on your terms. Okay. It's manifest. Even when we talk about manifesting, it's about doing what you want to do in life. Bottom line. It's not about me. Okay. You could care less about me. You know what I mean? And in one way, I gotta care less about you, meaning that, both of us need to stay in our own lane. Makes sense. Both of us need to live life on our terms and live life unapologetically on our terms, and not have to apologize for who we are. Just being the authentic you. And some of you want to be entrepreneurs. Some of you, I did a live, I believe last week, and I forget who I was talking to on the live, but she wanted to be a writer, and or she used to be a writer, stopped, kind of scared to kind of move forward. But what you have to understand is you just got to do it. You just got to get started. Okay. And it doesn't matter if you want to be an entrepreneur or you don't. If you don't, maybe you stop doing your hobbies for the last decade and you want to get back doing your hobbies. You want to get back being um maybe you're an athlete. You want to get back in shape. You want to get back kind of being involved with the community, being involved with extracurricular activities. It could be anything. You know what I mean? You don't have to put that entrepreneur word in there. But what I mean is, especially being an entrepreneur, you got to just get started. And this is what you have to understand. I've been an entrepreneur for a long time. I've had things be successful that I do, and I have things not be successful. But remember what I say, even though they're not successful, maybe you could say money wise, but they're all successful. Everything's happening for you. You still, like if you build a great big website and it doesn't work out, well, the biggest thing, you still got the experience of building that website. You still got the experience of building the brand. You still got the experience how things work. You still got the experience of building out the ecosystem. Makes sense? You still walk away with that experience. You still learned. You still carried something with you. Okay, that's what you have to understand if something don't work out. Okay, you still learn skills that you carry on to your next venture, or you just keep on fine tuning things. The biggest thing being an entrepreneur with a lot of us is you got to pick something you're passionate about, something you really want to do, and you got to stay with it and stick with it until it flipping works. I mean, that's really the flipping secret. Okay. The second secret is you got to get started, because you're not, no matter, listen to this, no matter how much experience you have, the you just got to get started. You're not going to know every single thing, no matter if you have 20 years experience, no matter if you're Russell Brunson, no matter you're Dan Henry, no matter who you are in the industry of marketing and sales, or maybe you have a huge brand, no matter you're Anthony Robbins. Makes sense? Like, when they start something new, yes, they have a lot of experience because they built a huge brand before, so they know how to do it. But the secret is they just get started. And once you get started, you're not going to know everything up front. You're not going to be able to see everything up front. But the power of just getting started is, once you start moving forward it a little bit, the something else kind of comes to light for you to do. I mean, it's like drive. I know you've heard this analogy before. It's like you're driving a car at nighttime. You have your lights on. Maybe you have your high beams on, and you only can see so far in front of you. Bottom line, I don't know how far you can see in front of you. That's really not the point. But you only can see so far in front of you. But you don't stop the car and get out and sleep in your car and wait wait till flipping daylight so you can continue driving. You're not going to drive off the edge of the earth. You know what I mean? Like, you know the road keeps on going straight, so you just keep on driving and you see more and more and more in front of you. The farther you go, you keep on seeing more and more. That's exactly how an entrepreneur being, building a brand, building a business, getting started. No matter if it's being an entrepreneur, maybe it's starting a new career, it's starting an old hobby you used to have or something you're scared to do. It's just about getting started. And let me give you an example really fast with YouTube, on my YouTube channel. And I use YouTube. I don't only do YouTube. You have to understand that. Um, but but the cool story I have with YouTube is, I came back to YouTube in 2023. And the reason why I came back is because during that time, it was January 2023. I remember the date because it was such a unique experience. It was January 2023. And And at that time, I was living in Thailand in 2021. In 2023 begin sometime near the end of 2022, I came home to visit family. I stayed there through the holidays. And since it was the new year, I always kind of reflect on things, how things are going and stuff like that. And I was kind of in that stage where, what to do next? You know what I mean? And I sat down. I was by myself at the time. I sat down. I was sitting in the recliner. I sat down, and I asked. You can either ask the universe or ask God. And no matter what your religious beliefs are, like what to do next? What should I focus on? And this is what I did. And every time I've done this, it's always worked. And this is how I got it to work for me a little bit. And no, this isn't my manifesting story. This is a bonus. Like anytime you ask the universe or ask God, what's worked for me is always be in a super relaxed state. Okay. I want to say a meditative state, but that's not the right word, because I'm not saying you have to sit down and meditate. I'm just saying, like, I'm just like sitting in a recliner, but I'm super relaxed. I'm super in that state for whatever reason. And, I just lay back, close my eyes, and ask the question. And usually when I ask a question, I ask, what should I focus on? What should I be like focused on as far as work and what I'm passionate about? And sometimes I follow it up. Give me a clear sign. I mean, give me something that I know a 100% is going to be the answer. And I've even done this, in a very relaxed state or right before I drift off to sleep. But the key is forget about it. When you get up, forget about it. Every time this has worked, it's always when I've done this and woke up the next day and totally forgot about it. Totally forgot I did it. and and it was such a weird experience when I did this, because after like 2 or 3 days, totally forgot about it. And I forget what I was doing. And all of a sudden I just had this like deep feeling. And this little voice was like, you don't think I'm crazy, but this little voice, I didn't hear it out loud, but you just kind of hear it, like, oh, get back on YouTube. Start your YouTube channel again. And it was so unique at the time because honestly, YouTube was flipping so far away from me. Like it wasn't even in my brain. Okay. If I sat down and wrote down 20 things what to do, YouTube wouldn't have been on it. So it was such a unique experience. I can't really explain it, but it was so unique. And honestly, that's what keeps me really more involved with YouTube. It's just having that, just having that experience. But anyway, kind of flipping back to my entrepreneur example, the thing is, no matter how much experience I have in in being in business, I mean, working for companies, building departments. I also work in IT. How I got in IT is when, I don't know, back in when things started to shift. I don't know, it was back in 2010 or when all companies wanted to have websites. Everything was switching from marketing to digital marketing. Well, I was kind of tech savvy, so then I already had the skill, the knowledge base. So I moved over. I switched over. So that's how I basically got into it, because I was already working, just not in that computer online sense. But the biggest thing with YouTube is no matter how much experience you have, no matter how much experience you have in marketing, no matter how much experience you have in SEO, SEO is, or how to build something organically and you're not doing paid ads all over the place. Uh, no matter how much experience you have, okay, you still just have to get started. An example is YouTube. YouTube's an excellent example because when I started YouTube, my whole goal with YouTube in the beginning was just to post videos and be consistent. To be transparent with you, it's just I'm just going to post every day and be consistent. That's it. I gave no more time to YouTube. I just posted a video. That's it. I wasn't really involved with the community post. I can't remember if YouTube had community posts a couple years ago, honestly. But you would think, well, Chad, you have all this experience. You have all this experience in business. Okay, I've worked with some great people. I mean, I've even worked with Ed Milet. I worked with Ed Milet from 2003 to 2008. Ed Milet is pretty popular now. You know what I mean? And I worked with some great people. I worked with some huge brands, and I've seen how these huge brands go viral. Make sense? And it's easy for people to jump on and say, "Well, Chad, you know all this stuff. Why isn't your YouTube channel exploding? Why isn't this exploding? Do you really know what you're doing?" You know what I mean? But I do know what I'm doing because I know the power of just getting started. So when I just got started, it was just throw up videos because I knew like when you do something, like, you're a writer, you do videos, you do podcasts, no matter what you do, in the beginning, it sounds selfish because you're doing it for you. Okay. You're doing it for you. You're also doing it for other people if you're teaching. But most of the time, you're doing it for you because you're trying to, what you're doing is you're trying to find your own voice. And what I mean by that for YouTube, I'm trying to find my own voice. I'm trying to find, okay, my brand was kind of generic at the time as wealth, health, and prosperity. So that's kind of like a generic brand. But what's my voice? What's what's the buy-in? And what I mean by buy-in, people want to be part of something. They want to be part of a movement. They want to be part of what you stand for, like what you stand for, what your movement stands for, what your channel stands for, what your company stands for. You know what I mean? People want to be part of something, but you don't know all this stuff in the very beginning. That's why you just have to get started. Because as I started making more and more videos, and this happened to me maybe only a few months ago. I started noticing that I sat down one day and I started noticing, I was like reflecting on my videos, but I started noticing that I was saying certain things in my videos. I was saying like live life on your terms. It's not about manifesting technique. It's not about what I want to do versus you. It's about living life on your terms, doing what exactly you want to do in life. Forget about everybody else. It's about what you want to do. It's about living life on your terms. And it dawned on me. It's like, dude, that's the way I want to go. That's kind of the slogan of the channel. Makes sense? So that's what I mean. You got to get started. Is you're not going to see everything in your path. You got to just get started and kind of get closer and closer and closer, and things will be revealed to you. I mean, same way it's being revealed to me. Now with me, with my experience, like with the YouTube, once I figured out kind of the direction of my channel, once I figured out all my slogan, the kind of a slogan on my channel, then then immediately I start building out the ecosystem of YouTube. I start building out the ecosystem of my other social media. I start building out the ecosystem of my personal website. You know what I mean? Because I have the ecosystem in there. That's where experience comes from. See, that's where your past experience comes from. And that's really the power of going viral. That's when people really know, when people have like not went viral, but they still built out their ecosystem or their business. But once they do go viral or do get popular, uh sorry about this. This is going by. Let this pass. That one's too loud. I don't know if I can take that out. They do that a lot in Thailand. They drive around with a speaker system. It's just way too loud. I almost lost my train of thought too. I don't even know what I was talking about. Uh, that's what happens. Um, oh, I think I know what I was talking about. it doesn't matter how much, so once you figure out how you want to go, you got the slogan, and everything, that's where all your past experience comes in. That's when it's like, oh, I know how to build an ecosystem. I know how to do all this stuff. And you put the ecosystem in there. This is how people flip and explode. Okay. When they do have something go viral. And I'm not just talking about viral for YouTube. Um, Once your brand goes popular, your company goes popular, once they have the ecosystem there, that's when they do something go popular, that's when it just appears like they just almost jump up overnight. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, where did you come from? You know what I mean? That's kind of what they do. But they knew just from the beginning, they just need to get started. Bottom line, ignore the noise around you, all the naysayers. It could be family, your friends, your significant other. It could be comments and social media comments that people's never achieved. I mean, when people talk negative to you or they do negative comments, this is what I want you to know: is nobody more successful than you. Nobody that makes a lot more money than you is going to jump on social media directly or indirectly and put you down. Nobody more successful than you. People that are doing that are that's putting you down directly, indirectly, are already beneath you. That's the only people who do that. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't, um, but that's just the bottom line. Um, they know. I mean, I mean, Ed Manlet isn't going to jump on my channel and jump on my videos and start making comments and putting me down when he makes he probably makes 30 million a year. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's going to do that. It's only people beneath you, and that's what holds them back from manifesting as well. Because you can't have success, but at the same time make fun of success and make fun of other people. That you're violating universal law. You're not living in harmony with it. But lo and behold, it's been like 20 minutes. Holy crap. But anyway, let's move on to part 3 here and talk about the manifesting story, because I did tell you the whole entrepreneur thing took longer. I did tell you I wanted to share my story. I think I might go ahead and add in the chapters, since the coffee talks have been kind of longer. Usually they've been like 30 minutes, 40, 45 minutes. But what manifesting story do I want to tell you? This is a great story. And let me lay the premise here. And it's all about Neville Gallo's ladder technique. And no, it's not the ladder technique if you're thinking. But I will post in the description. I will post Neville Gallo's ladder technique. You can take a look at that video. But the premise here is, when I was actually making that video, I was making the video on Neville Gallo's ladder technique. And I was trying to make the video. I did a lot of research with this, but I was trying to make the video like the most authentic version, what Neville Gallo really taught with the ladder technique, because a lot of things are just hybrids on YouTube. It's not what he really flipping taught. So I really wanted to try to get as close as possible to what he really taught and how he taught the ladder technique. So usually how I do videos, I'm sure you can tell my videos are not scripted. So usually if I have a thought, I kind of ponder that thought, ponder that video, what I want to say. Sometimes I ponder it for a whole day, couple days. And, then I'll sit down to the video, then I'll edit the video. But when I edit the video, I'm re-listening to it all the time. So that's my process. But with the ladder technique, since I did research on it, I did a couple days of research, few days of research, then another day, how I'm going to put it together, how I'm going to do the video. I think I scripted it out a little bit, kind of just organized my thoughts. I shot the video, which took a day. Then I edited it, and I believe it took a whole day, maybe 2 days to edit, something like that. But I spent a lot of time on this video. But anyway, in the middle of me making this video, this is where something weird happened. In the middle of doing this video, and no, has nothing to do with the ladder, I thought about making a spoof video, kind of make a spoof video off of the ladder technique. And I was going to call it the penny technique, or like a penny parable. Like, besides like manifesting a ladder, you would manifest a penny, because the reason why I was going to make a spoof video on the penny, because at the time, I'm still in Thailand, but at the time I was in Thailand, I was in Hue Hin. And in Thailand, like you rarely ever see, change on the ground or anything like that. Even in the States now, you rarely see money on the ground. You know what I mean? And and especially a penny. Like in Thailand, it's called one baht. It's like silver. I mean, a penny is kind of like that copper bronze color. But anyway, I also make this kind of funny spoof video. So when I'm kind of doing I'm kind of finishing up the ladder technique video. I'm already envisioning this spoof video on the penny technique. But then I sat it aside because I thought, okay, let me finish the ladder technique video first. Then after I finish this video and get it posted, I'll do this spoof video. So that's what I did. I finished the ladder technique video, and then I started thinking about this penny technique spoof video, or kind of like a funny video I was going to do off of the ladder technique. It was going to be identical to the ladder technique, except it's going to be a penny and not a ladder. But I was going to do it more funny. And I took like a couple days like thinking about it. I took a couple days like how, kind of how I was going to break it down, how I was going to do it. And I kind of sketched it out in my mind for a couple days. And I probably fell asleep in that state too, thinking about it at nighttime. But then when I woke up, I just kind of took a different direction. I kind of forgot about it. I had another idea for a video I thought was more important than making a funny video on the penny technique, pretty much. So I basically moved on and did another video, and then I totally forgot about the penny technique video, this spoof video. Totally forgot about it. It left my mind. And this is the manifesting thing that happened to me. It was kind of really weird. Is maybe it was like 2.5 weeks down the road from me just totally forgetting about the penny technique. Maybe 2 weeks later. Hang on a second. I'm on the pause here. They're coming back with a flipping speaker system. I don't know. One, they drive flipping slow as shit. It's like they're driving like I'm walking, and they have this great big speaker. I mean, it's in Thai. I don't know what the hell they're saying, but lots of times I feel like throwing my coffee at them. I don't want to waste my coffee. But anyway, going back to the ladder technique or the penny technique. Okay, I forgot about it, moved on. It was like 2.5 weeks later. Ang and I, we kind of felt like just going out driving around. So in Hue Hin, we kind of go outside of Hue Hin and kind of drive around kind of the mountains and stuff like that. And it was really hot that day. So we're driving around, and there's little like mom and pop shops, and there's one little mom and pop shop we know where it is. We're kind of like driving past after we're driving around for a while, and she just said, "Oh, dude, I'm getting thirsty because it's flipping hot and humid." So I was like, "Well, let's pull over where that little mom and pop shop's right there. We just pull over, get something to drink, get a snack, sit down and drink it, then continue driving on." So that's what we did. We pull over at the little shop, and we get a drink. We got like a little snack bag of chips or something like that. They have a little like picnic table there, kind of similar to what I'm sitting on here. So we're sitting down eating and drinking. I mean, I finished my drink, and no, it wasn't a beer. If you're thinking that, I finished my drink. We're getting almost ready. She's still sitting down. I'm standing up. I'm kind of like looking for a trash can, at least throw out trash. But all of a sudden, she says to me, I'm standing, and she's sitting like this, and she points. I'm standing beside her like this, and she points over here. She's looking at the ground. She's like, "Oh, there's one bot over there. Go over and pick it up and hand to me." So I'm standing beside her. I'm standing like right here. So I look over, and I'm like, "There's nothing over there. I don't see it." And she's like, "Yeah, there's one bot over there, laying on the ground. Go over and pick it up and hand to me." And I look over again. I was like, "There's nothing over there. I don't see nothing." And she's like, "Yeah, just walk over." She's like, "If you walk over, you'll see it." So, so I'm standing right beside her. So I walk over, I look over at her, and I was like, "Dude, I still don't see it." So she's like, "No, it's right there. You're almost standing over it." So I look directly down, and there's one bot like right by my foot. Okay. One bot is a penny in Thailand. So it's silver, so it was in the sunlight, so you couldn't really see it. So I lean down, I pick it up, and I walk over to her, and I think I'm on this side of her actually, and I hand her the one bot. But the thing is, once I handed her the one bot, it dawned on me. It's like, holy shit, that's the penny technique. That's the flipping ladder technique, baby. Uh, that was the penny technique. That was the penny burble. That was a spoof video I was gonna do on 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 the penny. It basically occurred. Okay, it basically happened, and it's such a wonderful story because I mean it's something that waiting for the traffic. Traffic's starting to get heavy here a little bit, and that's Tong. Um, but it just astonished me because I again I made the ladder technique video, which I'll post below for you. Then I put so much energy to, or thought energy to, this penny spoof video I was going to make, which was going to be kind of identical to the ladder technique, or how to do it anyway. But I changed my mind and didn't do it for whatever reason. Then 2 weeks later, 2.5 weeks later, it flippin' came true. It flippin' happened. You know what I mean? And I know, like again, when you're trying to manifest, even for myself, when you're trying to manifest big things, you're not trying to manifest a penny, you're not trying to manifest a cup of coffee. Um, but with these little techniques like this, what makes them powerful is it teaches you a lot. Okay. Even Neville Goddard said with a ladder technique, and I can say the same thing with the penny technique. If you can manifest a ladder, if you can get the ladder technique to work for you, okay, and the penny technique worked for you, maybe you manifest a cup of coffee. What you have to understand, if you manifested a flipping penny, if you got the ladder technique to work for you, if you manifest a cup of coffee, you could just as easily manifested $1,000,000. Never Goddard said this. Okay, you could, if you want your dream job, you could have just as easily manifested your dream job. If you want your dream house, you could have just as easily manifested your dream house. It's the same principles. It's the same exact thing. There's no difference. Okay, this is what you have to understand. There's no difference between you manifesting a cup of coffee and manifesting your dream house. There's no difference at all. Okay. And the reason why it's harder, this is what you have to understand. The reason why it's harder to manifest your dream car, your dream house, your dream salary, being a millionaire, or manifesting money, the reason why it's harder is because you're attached to it and you don't flip and let it go. See, every time I've manifested things, no matter simple things or big things, it's always when I truly let it go, I truly forgot about it. Because this is the deal, is once you influence your subconscious mind, it has to happen to you, but it's only going to happen when you truly let it go and forget about it. Bottom line. Okay, then you can take it a step further, the law of belief. Once I believe something's going to come to me, it has to come to me. I just got to step out of my own way. Okay, I can say something one time and it has to happen to me, but I got to get out of my own way. And how I get out of my own way, I need to forget about it. And that's what happened with the penny technique. Going back to the penny parable, the penny technique, the spoof video I was going to do on the penny. I just totally forgot about it. I totally let it go. When people done the ladder technique, I'll let this car pass. When people's done Never Gala's ladder technique, when it's worked, it's because they let it go. This is the real reason why Never Gala created the ladder technique. One, it proves to you that imagination creates reality. It proves to you that manifesting is real. It proves to you what you think about has to happen to you. But he chose a ladder because, again, most people are not attached to the ladder. Bottom line, most people are not attached to a cup of coffee. They tend to forget about it. Once they forget about it, it happens. They're not attached to a penny. Okay, why in the world do I want to find a penny? Okay. Okay, you got to put yourself in the same state you do manifesting the simple things, but you do the same exact thing, but it's your dream house, your dream cars, your dream salaries, your dream job. It works the same way. There's no difference. Okay. Um, kind of getting feisty there a little bit. But anyway, friends, it's about 35 minutes here. Probably wrap this up. Try to keep this like relatively a half hour ish. I will go ahead if you made it this far. If you're watching a video, you already know. I will go ahead and just add in the chapters. That way, I'll separate the intro to being an entrepreneur to the my manifesting story for you, just to make it a little bit, just to make it a little bit more um, user friendly to kind of skip around and you know kind of where things are. Uh, but anyway, remember the Super Thanks Spotlight. That's always going on, and that's on any video. It's not just on the Sunday Coffee Talk videos. Yes, you can comment on the Sunday Coffee Talk. You can do a Super Thanks on a Sunday Coffee Talk, but you can do a Super Thanks on any video because the Super Thanks are a little bit more better organized with inside the YouTube studio, so I can catch it a lot better than a comment. Sometimes comments, um, I mean, sometimes every once in a while it's a hit and miss. I mean, most of the time I get them, but once in a while, especially if people reply to my comment, sometimes I don't get the replies, and my channel's too big at this point. I mean, at least with the video content, to kind of search through and search for comments. But remember the Super Thanks Spotlight. And since this is Sunday, have a blessed week. You're gonna have an awesome week. Awesome things are gonna happen for you. You just have to believe that you're gonna have an awesome week. You're gonna have a blessed week. Money's gonna come in this week for you. You're gonna have unexpected money for you coming in this week, just coming out of thin air. You don't know where it's coming from, but it's gonna happen for you. That's how you have to believe. Okay, get out of your own way. Stop controlling the house. Stop trying to figure it out. Okay, let the universe, let God do its work. Okay, get out of your way. But other than that, blessings to you. Have a blessed week. I love you guys, and take care. And I'm gonna finish my coffee here. Hopefully, it's not too cold. I still got like half. But anyway, peace out, and I'll see you in the next video.